This new version of the Cuttlechron from MMI with its full lume dial is rather amazing and somewhat unique, but it doesn't just stop at the unique lume dial from this one. There is quite a few more things that I want to share with you. Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I am talking about watches, and I'm finally getting to get hands-on with one of these full lume variants of the Cuttlechron from the Microbrand MMI. There has been a couple of other versions of this one released previously, but this one is something a little bit special with TRI-LUME. I'll get into that a little bit later, but I'm excited not only because of this very interesting full lume dial, not just to get another version of the Cuttlechron, which is one of my favourite Microbrand watches, back onto my wrist, but also to feature one of my favourite all-time Microbrands. MMI make not only good quality watches, but unique design watches, but well-finished watches, but also affordably priced watches. So they really are in my sort of top 3 of favourite Microbrands, and definitely one that I can fully recommend. And this one, albeit in the same case as ones I've tried before, is rather special because of the variant that they are putting out. Something that they are putting out very shortly, and something that is available to purchase at the launch price of $429 US. Now that price does go up a little bit over the next few months after that, so you want to get in early if you want that price. And these watches will then be set for delivery in January 2026. And this watch, of course, being a no-date style watch, has a no-date Miyota 9039 movement, has a sapphire crystal and 150 meters of water resistance. But if you want to buy one of these watches, honestly, I think there's 2 specific reasons why you should, and it is partly because of the case of this watch. I love the Cuttlechron. I think it is unique and fun and interesting and nice to wear, but of course it's going to be this TRI-LUME that may make this particular variant the one that you want. Now this one is only a loaner from the company. I do have to send it on very shortly, but they did agree to send me one of the production models when they do come out early next year. That is why you would have seen that sponsored icon earlier in this video, but I'm also of course going to leave a link directly to their website, and I can definitely recommend this brand. Each watch I've ever had from them has been something a little bit special, both their designs, but their quality, and they are very, very cool. So this one could be the one for you if you like this style of dial, and if you've ever thought about a full lume dial before, well, this one is something a little bit different, a little bit unique, and I think something a little bit extra special. But it's not the only thing that has been put into this watch. So there are some other elements that I think make it worthwhile considering, even if it's not the lume effect that you're chasing. Because this lume effect, when you do turn the lights out, is quite significant. The 3 styles and types of lume that are used, the colors of lume, create a almost oil painting effect of the Kanagawa wave, which is very iconic and seems to be really linked in with watches for some reason, but it works on a dial of a watch. But what I like about this design and this effect is how it looks when the lights are actually on, because it still seems present and gives you this slight textured style light colored dial, which I actually like in the daytime almost as much as I like when the lights are turned out. But I also like that they haven't stopped there with this variant. They've added some other details and color choices to it to give it something a little bit special when the lights are on, including that orange second hand and that Hruodland chapter ring having those second markers in orange too. And the idea of these sort of applied markers, these polished hands, this lume background with this slight 3D effect because of that lume background, and then those pops of orange, it really helped make this watch. I have been enjoying turning the lights out and seeing the full lume dial of this one, but if I be completely honest, I've actually been enjoying it even more during the daytime because of those elements that are on the dial. Now beyond that dial, the rest of this watch is pretty much or essentially the same as previous Cuttlechron releases, having that Cuttlechron case size and dimension and style, the case being 42.3 millimeters directly across, having a height of 12.7 millimeters, a lug to lug technically of 42 millimeters, but you'll see the end links of that bracelet push out a touch to 44.5 millimeters. The lug width is 22 millimeters, but then does go down to 20 millimeters. And this one does have a little bit of weight to it, set to my 17 centimeter wrist, because it is 167 grams. A weight that is a little bit more significant than you might expect for a watch this size, but something that really helps balance the watch head out. And because of the dimensions of this, because of the case shape of this one, it really gives it a nice seated feel on wrist, but also ends up being a watch that is then nice to swap out with other straps if you want to play with it. And if you haven't actually seen a Cuttlechron before, well, have a look at the case shape, this square case with these angles, with these polishing and brushing, and that tucked away crown right there at the bottom right corner. Something that I think is design over function a little bit. I think it looks absolutely brilliant, especially with that loomed MMI logo and the shape of it and how it fits in. But it does mean when you are actioning this one, it takes a little bit more effort to utilize than perhaps a standard crown, but it is something that I forego because of how well it works in with this design. Now, of course, it is actioning that Miyota 9039 automatic movement, which is the no-date variant of the high beat Miyota, but of course it also, because of that, has hacking and hand winding. And if you're in any doubt about what this watch is called, well, when you flip it over, you can see that very deeply 3D oil-pressed cuttlefish that identifies this one as the Cuttlechron. But I want to spend a little bit more time on the bracelet that's on this watch too, because a watch that has all these design elements, that has all these features, that is so unique, that is also then so well put together, rarely then is paired with a really high quality bracelet. And I've got nothing against companies when they do then spend a little bit less on the bracelet, because I understand. I'd rather have more money focused in on the watch. But this one has been paired with an amazing bracelet. It has all individual links. It's silky to touch. It is put together with screw links and has one of the best on-the-fly clasps that there is available, especially in this price range. It's nice and thin, form-fitting to the underside of your wrist, and really I think should be utilized by many more brands rather than go for one or more of those sort of standard on-the-fly adjustment clasps that a lot of people are using in this price range. And whenever you do watch my videos, my reviews, I only actually ever really feature watches that I really like, that I seem to have a connection with, that I think are really cool, something that I think you would enjoy too. But there definitely are standout watches and standout brands amongst all the watches that I get hands on with. And MMI is always a standout brand for me. They just have that lovely balance of well-made but unique, but design focused, and have those details that I love within watches. Something that not only attracts my attention, but then holds and keeps my attention. And then they just keep making watches that I enjoy. So they're definitely worth checking out. And if it's not this model, then perhaps it might be one of their others, or might even be one of these two watches.